are these people?
But what's happening at LDJ5, where I believe they're having a vote either today or they just held a vote. It's about to happen. There's been a lot of campaigning. They're saying that, from everyone that's polling, it's 54-46, right? So now we're moving on. And this is a Socialist Alternative article, right, from Chris Gray, talking about what some of the tactics and some of the things that are happening at LDJ5. Right, which is pretty much exactly the kind of stuff that Chris Legion was warning about, right? That they're going to put in some high paid, that they're going to call some of these people right wingers, right? Which is to give them tropes, the gaslighting about what they're doing for them, and they're not really doing anything. High paid spies, where they're actually putting people on the line that are paid 3 times what the person next to them is paid to report back on what's happening. I mean, this is just some of the things that are being documented. I mean, it's remarkable. And who else is covering this stuff? I mean, there's so few. So again, shout out to Socialist Alternative. I know Shama Sawant was actually on the ground this week in Staten Island at LDJ5 to rally workers. It's a 1,500 worker center, a sorting center across the street from the JFK 8 Fulfillment Center. Right. So, again, we're looking to workers. This is like literally on the shop floor. They're trying to talk to people during their bathroom breaks. This is the only opportunity they're getting because, as Chris explained when he talked about that, he had to drive 2 to 3 hours commuting each way to work every day. Plus, he's working his shift where he's killing himself. He's got to get home. He's got to eat. He's got to do some things. He can't talk to anybody about anything the minute that he's done with his shift. And that's part of their plan here, right? So they want to apply the lessons from JFK 8 organizing, and however, these lessons with a different facility, different workplace conditions, workplace issues, and with less time to prepare poses unique challenges. So on top of this, they've learned their own lessons about what to do and more sophisticated union busting tactics. This is so good, right? So hiring $2,000 a day people to bust unions. An outside third party, even though a union is nothing more than the workers themselves. However, this does not stop them. Consultants dress up as concerned workers. They walk around the facility, right? And how do you do, fellow workers? Tell me what you do. Introduce doubt and suspicion. Like literally, hello, fellow workers. Holy shit. So it's not surprising that they're willing to pay because they're making hand over fist cash. Their profits are at record levels. So while they're continuing to squeeze every one of these people and extract all of their energy, all of their work, all of their time, it's beyond disgusting to support a guy who is one of the 5 richest people in the world. Definitely one of the 5 in the country.
Top 2 in the world, I think. I think Elon still got him beat. But yeah, as far as these rats go, it should be easy to spot these people, I think. Like, I think it's kind of like when they try to send like police to blend in at like protests. You can always tell. Like, you can see like their badge in their back pocket. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Para Oakleys, like some khakis.
Right, exactly.
And
you
like,
can kind of tell, like if you're really an Amazon worker, like you can kind of tell if there's like a narc in your midst. They're gonna have like nice shoes.
Usually
they'll have like
the
finely manicured,
coiled wired headphone probably gives it away.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to sniff these people out. If they're paying them $2,000 fucking a day, just look for the guy that drove up in the Porsche.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're always that dumb too.
Yeah, they don't show up in a Camry, do they?
They're always that dumb. No.
We can sniff them out. Most of them. Some of them might be smart enough to kind of elude us for a little bit, but a lot of times it's going to be pretty obvious. Like, really nice shirts, or they'll just dress too nicely for that job. You'll be able to sniff them out, and we should.
I think part of the thing is that they try to force you to be more insular, and then they complain that you're not like, open. Right.
Yeah.
So
they'll be like, they'll act like you're the weird one for not being like a lapdog for the boss. It's like, no, I'm not the weird one. I'm all for my like fellow employees. You can go get fucked. You sound like a manager to me.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So again, Amazon, of course, lying and saying the union is going to cause you to lose benefits, or even that they could fire you, which they can't. They're relying on vague suggestions. So of course they should do their own research, and we know getting access to truth online isn't straightforward. Again, simple Google search of "are unions good" can dredge up all kinds of anti-union articles. And if Amazon truly supported independent research, they wouldn't intimidate workers from talking to each other, chase away union members, or who show up to answer questions. And then there's the captive required worker meetings that they're holding. And I'm sure that, again, I'm guessing that they're going to talk about this, about, again, they're not always perfect. There's no debate about whether or not they have hurt the working class, as whether or not they have, and they have been under attack for decades. They have not. All right. And why have they shrunk is because they're not profitable, and the companies and their profits have been more important, and it's been profits over people for decades, and we're trying to change that. And I think that this generation, and we're at a tipping point where the people after the pandemic realized that it's been hugely profits over people, and we're all pretty much fed up with it. So again, think about your coworkers. And again, this is what they're doing on Union Busters. They're hosting regular closed-door meetings where they lie to, mislead, and intimidate workers into voting against their own self-interests. Again, captive audience meetings where the union can't defend itself, or they're inherently fair. They're also effective. The problem is that they're also illegal. The NLRB, I believe, outlawed it. But ending captive audience meetings was one of the most important. So the PRO Act, I guess, was going to outlaw it, but then the Dems gave it up.
Right. And then, so remember, Bernie Sanders, he'll act like he's for this right now because it's convenient, but has he called out Joe Biden by name publicly once for not overruling the parliamentarian on the PRO Act? I don't believe he did. I don't believe he did.
Imagine what that would sound like, though.
It, right, exactly.
My
he won't do
fucking friend, Joe Biden.
Exactly. And so because he isn't really for this stuff in a tangible, meaningful way. If he really cared about it, the least he could do is tweet about it and call out the person most responsible for stripping it out, which is the parliamentarian, and Joe Biden for not overruling her. And that's exactly the thing. It's like, dude, if AOC and Bernie actually really gave a shit about this stuff and weren't just doing it as some sort of PR stunt to help in the midterms, they would immediately be on Twitter calling out Joe Biden and the parliamentarian. But they didn't do that shit at all. So it's all a facade. It's all theater.
Yeah. Very much so, right?
Again,
and we're classically getting words of unity. We got to unify. That's literally Christian Smalls was talking about. We got to unify and come together. And it's like, dude, you did the right thing the first time. Like,
I'll take solidarity over unity any day.
Absolutely,
all day.
Absolutely, like unite behind us, as we always have to say. Like, And
I just want to be clear. Like my comments earlier about saying make them put their money where their mouth is and promise to go out there and rally. The point is to get them to admit that they're not going to do that, right? Because they're never going to do that. If he called them out publicly and was like, okay, you want to actually do this, then let's do it. They wouldn't do it, and that would expose them immediately because they wouldn't do it. Of course not. Of course not. Bernie and AOC don't care enough to go to these things until after the victory's won.
Yeah. And if they do, it's because someone was told you really kind of need to be there, you know,
because it's going to help the Democratic Party. It's going to help their image. So and
they're only going to be there if it helps them. But they're not going to show up to an organization meeting without cameras. They're not going to show up to right. That's not happening for sure.
No, it's a photo op. The same as when AOC goes down to the border and pretends like she cares about the kids in cages and then immediately stops talking about it as soon as Biden takes office. You don't give a shit. You just wanted the photo op.
And then it becomes political. And that's been my problem the whole time, is the minute that this becomes a political football, we're screwed. And that's when, people, there are tons of nonpartisans that just don't want to have any politicians anywhere near their union. We know that, they're all trying to do that. And there's a lot of benefit to, to getting access to these audiences, and then trying to convince them that you're on their side when you've been undermining their rights and not giving them the money and the benefits to survive in this economy and in this pandemic. So it to me is a huge gaslight, as always. And again, all the profits end up going toward Amazon shareholders and Amazon at the end of the quarter. And again, these workers are the reason why. But look at this. It's unreal. So they stopped inviting pro-union employees completely. These are happening every shift at LDJ5. But Amazon's changing it up. Yep. What are they doing? They're cultivating unfounded fears, right? Because they claim that certain benefits are going to be taken away. They'll lose health care. People be fired. Again, they're just straight up lying to people, because what are the consequences to them for doing so? There are none.
Yeah. Nope.
Right? Here's another misleading thing. We're going to wait and see on the JFK contract, see if they actually get it overturned, and if there was wrongdoing or there was some type of undue influence by the NLRB, which all indications are showing that there was not. Again, this is why they need to vote yes, link up the two struggles, and expand the movement to other facilities. 100%. Chris says that over 100 facilities have called him about unionizing. I don't know if any have actually started to file paperwork with the NLRB, or they're going to do that in secrecy until they have enough together that Amazon can't respond in kind to try to destroy it. Okay, again, other unions need to jump in and fight. Unionize Amazon everywhere. Long article. Jason Kozlowski, straight up, great. And again, who's this? This one was Chris Gray over at Socialist Alternative. Another great article exposing what's happening out there. And what Amazon is doing to try to bust up their union and to destroy the union movement in this country.